The St. Louis Blues announced the team's 24th captain in history, and it is Brayden Schenn. What do I think about this? Let's find out. Stay tuned here on Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host, Haley Taylor Simon, a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. The St. Louis Blues announced the team's 24th captain in history, and that, of course, was Brayden Schenn, who I thought was going to be the captain. So I'm going to talk about that. Training camp is also in 2 days, giving some more thoughts on that, and then your reactions to Mr. Brayden Schenn being named the captain. First things first, I feel a sense of relief. This has been a topic I've discussed here in Locked On Blues, not just for the summertime, but this has been a topic that I've discussed with friends before I began this podcast about why I feel like Brayden Schenn should have been captain. And we debated on here about Schenn and Robert Thomas, Justin Folk, and my whole mindset was this. Brayden Schenn is the type of guy to be a captain because he has the experience in the leadership. He is a veteran on the team, and he is a natural leader. And in the little reveal video that they did, they basically said all of that. When I saw the video and I saw number 10 come up, I freaked out. I have a reaction video actually posted on the YouTube channel of Locked On Blues and on Twitter at Locked On Blues of my initial reaction. I really felt that it was going to be Brayden Schenn. But then another thing that was interesting was somebody on Twitter said, oh, it's definitely going to be Robert Thomas because of the Blues' Twitter cover photo, because it was a picture of Robert Thomas. And Jamie Rivers, who's going to be the color analyst, said, that's not true. So it made me feel a little bit better. I mean, obviously, Thomas is an assistant, and he will be captain one day. But right now, I just felt like Brayden Schenn was the best fit possible, and I am really happy about it. I think that this is good for the St. Louis Blues. I think this is good heading into training camp, having that leader again. And, it's funny. You look at the list of captains for the St. Louis Blues, and it makes sense that Brayden Schenn is one of them. And the whole hockey community, I have seen so much outreach from different members of the NHL expressing how happy they are for Schenn. And I think that just goes into consideration that this is a person that deserves it. And he earned it. And that's another thing, and I've said that for a while, that Brayden Schenn, despite the fact that he's been on the team for a while, he's been in the league for a while, he has earned this title. And he is in his early 30s, so I'm not expecting him to be captain for 5 years. I mean, maybe he could. I don't know his durability. But to get the Blues going in the right direction, it makes sense that it is him. And I felt chills, seriously, watching the videos and watching his press conference, because this is something here on Locked On Blues that I talked about for so long. And I would have been gutted for him if it wasn't him. I, of course, would have been happy if it was somebody else for them, but I just know how much this probably means to him, and it seems right. And this is setting the tone for the season now. Now that Brayden Schenn is the captain of the St. Louis Blues, it feels so good to say. It sets the tone. Okay, now you have a guy who won the cup with the team. You have a guy that has the leadership ability, who has just shown excellent skill on the ice. And now you have him with the C, and that changes things. You're going from the St. Louis Blues that ended up having to trade your captain during the trade deadline to now having a guy that is going to retire as a Blue, hopefully. And I think that is really important. And another thing about this whole captaincy is people need to understand one thing. A captain is more than your ability on ice. A captain is a guy that's able to connect with the team. It's a guy that's able to go, motivate players, work well with the coaches. And Brayden Schenn executes all of that. And I am so happy for him. But I'm also happy for you, St. Louis. I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy for the team because I truly think that this was a decision that is going to benefit the Blues so much in the long run, having Schenn as your captain for this season and hopefully a couple of seasons. There is no time limit put in place right now. But what I can say is this. I trust in this organization again. And I know that sounds silly, but ever since they announced yesterday that they were naming the captain today, I have felt so much more calm about this season ahead because it doesn't feel sloppy. It feels like they have plans and things are being executed properly. And I think doing it before training camp was so smart because now you're going into training camp able to prepare for the season with the leaders on the ice. And, it's funny because when people think of captains, you think, oh man, like you think of Alex Ovechkin, captain of the Capitals. You think of Sidney Crosby, captain of the Penguins. Why am I naming like random captains right now? But the point that I'm trying to make is you think, oh, Quinn Hughes, Canucks. Now that actually happened about a week ago, I want to say. But captains are very important. Mark Stone, Golden Knights. I don't know. Again, I'm naming captains. The point that I'm trying to make is that the captain is the first player that people usually look at when it's coming to your team. And I'm guilty of that. Like when the Blues play other teams, I'm the first one to look at their captain and be like, okay, this is who we're up against. When people think of the Capitals, you think of Ovechkin because he's been their captain for so long and he's been a leader. And I'm using that as an example because Ovechkin's like the closest thing to Gretzky that I can think of. And when Gretzky was our captain for about 18 games, literally, people probably feared the Blues quite a bit then. I don't remember because I'm only 24. But the point that I'm trying to make is a captain is a symbol of your team. And for teams that don't have captains, I don't want to say makes them look weak, but it's not something where it looks that good. I mean, right now the Boston Bruins are in search of their next captain. I think it's Marchand, to be honest. But they are still a team that people fear even despite them not having a captain because everyone knows that they're going to name a captain. The Blues, it was kind of up in the open if they were going to name a captain or not. I always thought all along they were going to, but there's always that doubt of, are they actually going to name somebody? And that was kind of my biggest thing. I think when it comes to the St. Louis Blues, it is a true honor to be named captain. I'm going to read you a quote that Schenn put out. The history of this franchise, the great captains they've had, and now getting your own name added to that extraordinary list is a huge honor. That I am thankful for. And I think that sums it up pretty well. Schenn deserves this. And just so you know, this is the leadership group for this season. Brayden Schenn, captain. Robert Thomas, assistant. Justin Folk, assistant. And Colton Paracco, assistant. I love all these guys. And I'm going to get into some of the reactions I saw online because some of them I just want to address. But overall, my reaction is I am really excited. And this is who I wanted in this time. And for me, obviously, if you see my reaction, I was genuinely super excited and I still am. So congratulations, Brayden Schenn, captain of the St. Louis Blues. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is super easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Training camp is only a couple of days away. And now that they've named Brayden Schenn captain, I am definitely feeling a little bit more excited for it. It is crazy to think that there's preseason hockey coming up and that the season is about to kick off. I feel like this time of year is insane in the hockey world because so much is going on in such a short period of time. I mean, think about it. A month ago, nobody was really in town yet, and now it is training camp time. So, yeah, sure, I went over the Blues' schedule with training camp, but I do want to say that this Saturday at 3 o'clock p.m., the Blues host the Coyotes for their first preseason game. And then I think I went over this before about how it's like at that neutral place. Then on Saturday at 8 p.m., it's another preseason game where it's the Coyotes hosting the Blues. It's the same venue. I know it's a little confusing, but it's just flipped basically. And then on Tuesday the 26th, Blues and Blue Jackets. That always messes me up for some reason with the amount of Blue Jackets. Speaking of Blue Jackets, all the drama that team's endured recently because of Mike Babcock is insane. And I just want to say this on my platform that I have here in Locked On Blues. Player safety is super important off the ice just as well as it is on the ice, yeah. So for the players, I feel for them, and I, just want to put that out there that it's really important to protect your players' safety. Then next Thursday, the Blues at the Blackhawks. And then Blues host the Stars next Saturday. And then October 2nd, the Blues are in Columbus. Hold on. Why do I feel like preseason's extra long this year? Wait, why do I feel like that? And then the Blues are at the Stars on the 5th. And then the final preseason game is October 7th. Blues are hosting the Blackhawks. I feel like that's a super long preseason. But yeah, the Blues' first game of the season is at Dallas on October 12th. And then on October 8th, the Blues host the Kraken. Why do I feel like that's at a... I don't know. I feel like I say that every year when it comes to preseason. It just feels extra long for me. But yeah, so basically preseason Saturday, 6 games, and then boom, regular season, and it's happening. What are my hopes? My hopes are to see this team play as a team. Obviously, I want to see how Kevin Hayes fits in. That will be something big. Oh, folks, by the way, I have a bit of a cold, so if you hear me taking kind of like big breaths in between, it's because it's hard to breathe out of my throat. So just don't mind. But I'm interested to see how Kevin Hayes fits with the team dynamic. I'm also curious with the team dynamic when it comes to now Schenny as captain and seeing how that maybe shows on the ice. I'm looking for a connection. I know these guys have the skill, but I'm looking for more of a connection. And obviously, like the defense, I want to see them step up just a little bit. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it. There is a lot to look forward to with training camp and preseason. But most importantly, I am not concerned about the wins and the losses of preseason. I am going to start feeling that way on October 12th once the regular season begins. But I'm expecting to see a lot of effort, improvement on plays, solid passing, taking good shooting attempts, and not being too overly cautious when it comes to having the puck and just being able to do a little bit of a slap shot into the net and not think twice about it, because hesitation was a huge problem that the Blues faced this past season. A couple of the guys just would hesitate too much, and it led for missed opportunities. So I want to see the Blues take advantage of every opportunity that they can get, and I will be happy. I'm not gonna, sit here and criticize St. Louis for putting in the full amount of effort, but I will criticize if they don't, if that makes any sense. But this is an interesting time. This is the time where kind of the truth comes out, to see the work that these guys have put in the offseason, to see how well they're playing together, and to see if they mesh. And that is what's most important. And I'm not looking too critically to where I'm going to be judging everything they do, but hopefully by like the third preseason game, they pull it together. Maybe the first couple might be a little rough. It always usually is. Preseason games are not pretty, I can tell you that. They're ugly. But I am hoping for good team dynamic. I am hoping for a lot of effort. And if you give me that, I will be happy. But tomorrow, hopefully more information comes out about the training camp and preseason. And the Blues did add a couple of guys for professional tryouts, and I will get their names as I did put it in my notes. I cannot believe how this time of year really impacts like everybody's throats. Okay, so the team today signed forward Sam Bitten, and he is a forward, and defenseman Andy Wesneski to a professional tryout. Bitten, 23, recently appeared for the Blues at the Tom Covers Prospect Showcase in St. Paul, Minnesota. The Ottawa, Ontario native, dressed in 48 regular season games of the Czech League last season, scoring 1 goal and 79 penalty minutes. Sam is the brother of Will Bitten, who dressed in 4 games with the Blues last season. Will Snilski, 30, split last season between the AHL's Hartford Wolfpacks and the Rockford Ice Hogs, collecting 19 points, 4 goals, 15 assists, and 14 penalty minutes in 54 regular season games. The Minnesota native, he dressed in 46 career NHL regular season games with the Anaheim Ducks, tallying 6 points, 1 goal, 5 assists, and 8 penalty minutes. Interesting. I feel like one of them is related to somebody, though. Hold on, let me go look. Now I'm like, I swear to God. I don't know how I feel about Sam Bitten, though. Whatever. Okay, anyways. I'm like, whatever. It's not that. Whatever. Everyone should be empowered to care for themselves and their loved ones during the unexpected. That's why Jase Medical offers the Jase Case. The Jase Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use and gives you a peace of mind so that you're not just hoping that you have access to medication in an emergency. Jase Medical makes sure you have the medication in hand. Jase Medical is simple. They handle everything from the online evaluation to licensed pharmacy medication delivery and ongoing consultation and care. Don't get caught up unprepared. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jase Medical, plus an additional $20 off by using code LOCKEDON at checkout on jasemedical.com. That's JASE medical.com, promo code LOCKEDON. There has been some reactions when it comes to Brayden Schenn's big announcement of being named captain of the St. Louis Blues. And some of the reaction I'm not a fan of. And I'm going to tell you why. So, okay, here we go. There is this divide I've noticed on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, between Schenners and Thomasers. And what do I mean by that? Well, people think that Thomas is the step in the future. It's somebody that's young that will be here long term. And one thing I want to say is this: you need to support your captain, period. If it was Robert Thomas, I would have still supported him. The Blues are in an interesting place where they are not an awful team. They just had an awful season, but they have a guy that is able to lead the team. And I truly believe that with Brayden Schenn. It's not fair to put the two against each other now that somebody has been named captain. This isn't going to help, right? You can be upset that it wasn't your favorite player. That is completely fine. But it's like a weird reaction from some people that said, oh, it should have been Thomas, blah, blah, blah. But then there was also a lot of people that are super excited for Brayden and are, very supportive. And the outreach, as I said, among the hockey community is huge. Somebody said Thomas got screwed. And then everybody's like, what are you talking about? Because it's not that deep. It's not that deep. This is a good group. And somebody said Schenn, LMAO. And people probably just assume that, I don't know, maybe they're trolling or they think they're funny, looking for a reaction. But oh my gosh, I love this Twitter reaction. So somebody says Brayden Schenn, but they emphasize the C as in captain. So then somebody says you can't spell blues without an L. And I love this guy. His name's Roberts the Tank Engine. He is so funny. And he said you can't spell avalanche without one either doofus. But look how sick this looks, the sweater for captain. The little C. Beauty. I'm just excited. I really knew all along that it was going to be him. And I think that the whole entire St. Louis Blues franchise and fans are excited. It's all these trolls that are looking for reactions that are trying to stir the pot a little bit. But this is a historic day. I mean, he is the 24th captain in St. Louis Blues history. That is a huge honor. That's not a lot of guys. Think about it. And, his name will forever be on that list. And I am super excited, not only for him, but just to be a fan and covering a team during this time. I think this is such a unique thing that I got to cover as in depth as I did. And now I feel like the season's about to rock and roll. So congratulations, Brayden Schenn. I am super excited for you here on Locked On Blues. Again, if you want all of your latest Blues information, make sure you follow me at Haley T. Simon or at Locked On Blues. I cannot believe I got through today's episode without having a huge coughing fit, but I'm sure I'll have that as soon as I sign off. All right, and how I end every single episode, let's go Blues.